Should I be waiting? There it is. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Rebecca. No, I don't go by Rebecca. I go by Becca. Weird. Anyway, I'm a senior product designer here at GitLab on Thread Insights. And I wasn't really sure what to do for this showcase, honestly. I've been trying to be as transparent as possible and share a lot of my ongoing work. And I think why I've been doing that is kind of twofold. One is it's great to see other designers' work to try to identify like overlap in what we're working on, even though we are siloed in different stages and groups. There's bound to be overlap with some kind of workflow or persona, or components, pajamas components that we may be using. And so, yeah, just transparency and collaboration is why I've been trying to be as transparent as possible. And, you know, the co-working channel and the UX Weekly calls, I volunteered for these showcases. I think it was the last one or the one before that I volunteered. But I'm not seeing the same level of participation from other designers, and I would really like to. So I think that's one of my goals for sharing ongoing work, is to get that feedback and try to encourage collaboration. The other reason why I've been trying to be more transparent with my work is to try to lead by example and hope that other designers kind of follow suit. I think vulnerability begets vulnerability. And so, you know, I'm trying to be more transparent in not only my wins, but also where I'm struggling and any failures along the way, because I think we can all learn from those. So for this showcase, and it's kind of perfect that I'm the only one that's presenting. I think this is a great opportunity for us to see what each other are working on. I think a lot of the time there's pressure maybe that comes from past companies that some of us have worked at, where you're presenting a finished product to stakeholders, and that's Valerie and Christy, when she was still at GitLab, have really emphasized that it doesn't have to be a finished product. And a lot of the time it shouldn't be, because when we're sharing work that's in progress, that's an opportunity for to identify those overlaps. And so with the showcase, I want to do one of two things. I've been thinking about how we can improve the collaboration and transparency with what we all work on. And so I actually put together a lightning decision jam. I found a template in FigJam. So we can either do that together to brainstorm ways of addressing any concerns and identifying opportunities to share more and be more transparent in our work. Or if there's not enough synchronous interest in doing this, then I will share the link to this and we can do it async. And I will share some ongoing work of mine. So I'm hoping at least 3 people could join in this this workshop or this decision jam. So if you are willing to do this right now, if you could just like vote with an emoji in Zoom. And if I don't get 3 votes, I'll just go into things I've been working on. I know Vitika, thank you. Chris, thank you. Justin, thank you. Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and try this out. I've never led one of these sessions before. I've actually been looking for opportunities to do something like this. And so I may be rusty, but in the spirit of transparency and vulnerability, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. If somebody wants to chime in at some point, feel free. So let's get to it. In the agenda, I included the link to the Fig Jam. I will also put it into the Zoom. Let's see, chat. Yeah, and if you're new to the team, that's great. You can bring experience from past companies, and like contribute where you can. And if you don't have anything to say in one area, that's totally fine. So maybe I should start with what a decision jam is. So a remote lightning decision jam is a structured brainstorming workshop where a team of people come together to define, prioritize, and solve problems without the typical bias that may occur in a standard brainstorming session. It's good for aligning a team on singular goal and coming up with solutions to validate without falling into the trap of open-ended, unstructured discussions. So first, as a warm-up, under 1, we're going to start with something fun. So using stickies, I see some of you already going for it, which is great. We want to just kind of break the ice and learn about each other. So what was your first job and what's one lesson you learned from it? I'll take, here, I'm going to pull up the clock. So I time this, make sure we stay on schedule. So we'll take 2 minutes for this. Maybe I should share my screen so people watching the recording will actually follow along here. Yeah, and sticky note color doesn't matter. We have about 30 seconds left. Oh, did someone set the clock in Figma?
When you said there was 30 seconds left, I set the clock.
Oh, thank you. I was like, how did that perfectly go off? Thank you, Justin. I haven't
AI. No, I'm just kidding. It was me.
It's always listening. Okay, cool. So Does anyone want to share? If not, I'll read some out.
I'll share.
Go for it.
I went way back. I didn't know what first job meant. So I went like first job when I was in high school. I worked at a music store. That's when you go to a location and you pick out the album or CD or tape at the time. And you walk up to a person and you say, I want to buy this. And then they charge you money. So basically that was retail. And what lesson did I learn? I learned that retail sucks. Don't ever work retail. It's not fun.
Yep, that sounds about right. Okay, I'm seeing anybody else want to comment on theirs? I'll go. I was a preschool teacher early on, and I realized that I felt disconnected from society and wanted to do something more culturally and socially relevant because I was singing, you know, ABCs and changing diapers, and was just in this like world that was cut off from the rest of the world. And living in San Francisco, I had friends in tech, and they would get together and talk about things going on in technology and the way that people were trying to solve problems with technology. And I was just in this like, you know, world of teaching kids potty training and social skills, which is important, but I knew I wanted to not do that forever. Anyone else? I'm seeing Valerie was a concert usher at an outdoor venue, and she learned that it's hot in Texas. Yes, it is. I can confirm that. It's still too hot, even in October.
I went a similar direction to Justin and went first job. It was a commercial furniture installation and moving as like a summer job in high school, which is a lot of work. And I think the biggest thing I learned was like proper weightlifting form for when you're picking up like giant desks or carrels or bunk beds.
With the legs, not
Also
the back,
hot, but it was
right?
in New England, so not as hot as Texas. Yeah, with the legs, not the back.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good lesson for all of us. Anyone else?
I can go next. I was a visual designer for an ad agency. Like that was my very first job. And I used to like end up in the office at 8 a.m. in the morning and stay there until 12 a.m. like the next day. And still people would frown at me when I would say I need to go home. So I definitely learned that I did not like working for like 16 hours a day and I need to change something.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Don't
But
blame
I got to eat a lot of pizza and food because we had all the like food accounts and Pizza Hut was one of them. So whenever they would launch a new crust, they would invite us for tasting. Yeah, that worked well.
How many crusts can you launch anyway?
They did launch a lot of crusts.
Never forget the stuffed crust. Okay, anybody else want to share?
Yeah, I'll go. My first job was a coffee barista at Pete's. I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed the rush. I loved kind of being in the flow and trying to figure out how I can make 5 to 6 drinks, especially during a rush. But alongside that, I think what made that happen was definitely a lot of espresso and sugar, which when you're younger you can handle it. But now I'm like, a little too much.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I was a barista at Starbucks for a while, for a summer too. And at least it's nice to be surrounded by caffeine to kind of get you through the rush. Awesome. Okay. Thanks everyone for participating. So let me, before we get into the next portion, for the newer people, especially, I just want to give a little bit of context. So I've been at GitLab a little over 4 years, and I've seen the UX team grow, which is great. But with that, naturally comes some scalability issues. So when I first started, I remember we all went around round robin style, and everyone shared one thing they were working on in the UX weekly meetings. And it was clearly almost at a breaking point at that point, because I don't remember how many of us, 25 of us, and we were trying to, in under an hour, get in enough context for what we were working on, and then the problem to solve and the constraints and the solutions. It was rough. I think that's great for a smaller team, but it was clear that we needed to do something different. And so I think, with any UX team that's scaling, it's going to be a balance of, how do I show the work that I'm doing and try to identify overlaps with somebody else on the team. But how do I not spam everybody, right? Because we don't want to be using the GitLab UX. We don't want to ping everybody on every single issue that we work on. So it is a balance. So that's the problem we're trying to solve. Some of GitLab's values are transparency, collaboration, and results. And I think that collaboration and transparency can lead to results when it's done in the right way. When you're not spamming everyone with everything, but just we can work more efficiently this way too, because we'll have a more consistent product, and we can share resources, whether it's design explorations, research findings, pajamas, front end, back end solutions. All of that will lead to greater efficiency too. So does anyone have any questions before we get started? Okay. So I went ahead and added this. So starting with the why, introducing today's goal, what are we trying to solve or achieve? Improve transparency and collaboration on the UX team. I'll also say that I think it was last year, there was a survey sent out by the people ops department that asked, how, like, satisfaction. And I remember that the UX team's satisfaction with the team was a little bit lower than maybe some other departments. And so they got it was specific to I think the women on the team were the ones that reported like lower satisfaction levels. So they got all of us in a room, and it was just a safe space to kind of share whatever was on our minds. And something that came out of that too was that we all feel closer with our groups or stages than we do with the UX team. So that's also, I think, another goal here, is to feel more of a sense of community among UX. Is there anything else that anyone can think of that we should put as a goal here?
Yeah, don't forget, when you say UX team, that includes multiple sub departments.
Right. So tech writing, design, research.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So this isn't just about design. Sorry if I'm using design specifically anywhere, but research findings, and yeah, tech writing resources as well is definitely part of this. So then maybe we'll start with that as the goal. So for this next part, we're going to take 5 minutes, and using this drawing over here of a sailboat. So the purple stickies, just take this and copy it. This is going to be the wind in our sails. So what is driving us forward? What's working well about the team? So for example, I'll get started. We have a lot of smart people on the team who are awesome contributors to GitLab. So I'll write that down. Anything else that's like the wind in our sails. So things that are driving us forward when it comes to the resources we have in UX. And I will take 5 minutes over here now that I know that that's a thing. And we'll just do this quietly. Oh my God, I just realized there's music we could play. Yes, definitely doing that. Okay, just under 10 seconds. We can start to wrap things up. Awesome. Okay, so couple things I'm seeing here. Great team full of super smart, highly skilled individuals. Yes, yes, yes. Openness about our challenges so we can improve. People with varied expertise and interests, absolutely. Willingness to try new things, like what we're doing right now. Deep shareable products and skill expertise. I wrote that there's great retention here. So designers like myself who have been at GitLab for over 4 years, who have context about the product and our users. So good resources there. We all seem to have the will to improve how we work. Adaptability, able to shift with the changes required by the business, definitely. Support with growth and development and access to opportunities, ability to learn, take classes, grow our skills. These are all awesome. Working sessions, co-creation, not just feedback. Yep. These are great. Okay. So now what we're going to do is the anchors, the things that areas for improvement, the opportunities here, what's holding us back from reaching our goal of full transparency, collaboration, and a sense of community within the UX department. So I'll set the timer again for 5 minutes and we can list some things. Whatever comes to mind, there's no wrong answers here. All right, just
30
30 seconds. Thank you, Justin. Awesome. This makes me so happy. Thank you everybody for collaborating and contributing here. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Prioritization of feature work happening at too low of a level, which creates gaps in workflows in our product and natural silos. So much stuff, information overload. Yep. Time zone constraints, never having everyone in one room except for Las Vegas next March. Async and remote is hard. I can't walk up to someone and just start whiteboarding. Yep. Shifting priorities, siloed ownerships, not feeling like anyone is working on something similar. I think something like this is particularly interesting for me. I think it was someone recently, was it Nick Brandt, that was sharing something that was about to ship, or maybe that was behind a feature flag that was about to be implemented. And there was some overlap in a component that he was using that I was also using in exploration. So I think, especially working within a design system, there's bound to be some kind of component overlap and ways in which we need to test or push the boundaries of a component. So I'm really glad these things are coming up so we can address them. Availability of team members due to time zone differences and capacity, hesitance to practice low level of shame, really hard to make bigger sweeping changes, too nice at times, not enough depth in what we deliver to our users. We just might MVC things to death without going back and finishing things. Yeah, I had something similar here about MVC mentality may encourage shipping things fast and getting feedback later on rather than upfront. Too many cooks in the kitchen can slow down the progress of getting things done. Tight deadlines that don't allow for a complete design process. These are all amazing. So I think, and Justin, I feel like you've done this a little bit more than me, given this is my first time doing it, but let's take 3 minutes now and use a sticker, which can be found under the stamp. Also, I love this wheel. I think it's just a really fun design, but take a sticker and vote on any of these that you feel like are the most important issues to tackle. So everybody gets 3 votes. Doesn't matter what sticker you use. So we'll take 3 minutes, read over everything, and vote on your top 3. Okay, so just under 30 seconds. Okay, does anyone else need more time? Okay. So, the next step is to move the top voted issues over here and then come up with how might we's. So reframing problems as standardized challenges. So the example they provide, people don't recycle their plastic. How might we get people to recycle their plastic? So pretty high level. But let's see what we have here. So it looks like we have 3 votes here. Move this one over. This one has a number of votes. This one.
Try to build a hierarchy. You got to take the votes with you, though.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, build like a pyramid of top voted to least voted.
Gotcha. Okay, let me back up then.
Yeah, you can take the actual items. They don't need to persist in multiple places.
True. I think something that I could have done before this step is to kind of do oh man, it's been a while. Like where you group things. What is that called?
Affinity?
What?
Affinity diagramming?
Yes, affinity diagramming. Thank you. So next time I'll probably do that first since there is some overlap. This one has 3. I can't tell where this one is. I think it's over
I
here.
put that one in the middle because those two things are basically the same to me.
Wish my MVC things to death without going back. Okay. Yeah, so I'll just group them. And then okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Justin, are you moving these over? So it's like the ones with the most votes are at the top and then going down. I see. Okay. So let's take this so much stuff information overload and carry that over into the first bucket here. And then something about MVC. Maybe the second. More focus on stage group, specific work, and at times failing to see the larger picture. We're supposed to do 3 or 4. I guess 4.
This one's got the most. This one's got the second most. This one's got the third most.
So one more. Every area in the product is playing. Oh man, these are all really good.
The cool thing about this is we don't have to solve for everything. We can always come back to this later
Yeah.
and pick up new stuff.
Okay. I'll just take this one here. Put this one down here. It's a bonus. Okay. So, now let's try to take 6 minutes and just focusing on these 4 or 5, if this one speaks to you, and coming up with how might we's, and we can put it like all over this box, but how might we come up with actionable ways to address this problem?
I think technically, I think this one got more votes than the one above it.
Okay, we can flip them. So yeah, let's especially focus on the top 3 as the most top voted.
Yeah, work top to bottom, basically. If you run out for step 1, move to step 2. If you run out of step 2, go to step 3, etc.
Okay. Also, in the sake of time, I'm going to scope this to 3 minutes. So let's just try to come up with some, as many as we can, so that we can get to the next items before time's up. Okay, it looks like the first one has a lot of ideas. Let's move on to 2 or 3. We can extend the time a little bit. I'm going to add another minute. All right, let's take one more minute to do the third one. Oops. So top voted issue number 3. I'm just going to finish my thought here. Okay. Amazing. Okay, so we have about 4 minutes left. So let's see what we can get through here. Idea burst. So ideate a bunch of solutions. So for example, how might we get people to recycle their plastic? Explain better how to recycle, come up with a reward system, place stickers on bins with what goes where. Let's see, how can we do this? Maybe let's move, can't move that. I'm gonna move these over so that we can just go to the right for the solutions. Here, I'll move this up. I'll move this over as well. Okay, so take a green sticky note and just in this area over here, we can come up with some solutions. Doesn't have to be a solution you want to move forward with. Like, let's just throw a bunch of things out there and we'll take 2 minutes to do this. Try to cover at least 2 of the issues. Okay, so time is up in all of the ways. But I'd encourage everybody, even if they're just watching this recording, to come in here and add more how might we's, add more solutions. And then I will, in the next UX Weekly meeting, if there's not enough votes. So the next step is to vote on some of these solutions and then come up with low effort, high impact, and turning these things into action. So I'm going to own this as a side project of mine and keep driving this forward. So I'm going to keep this open for a week or until the next UX Weekly meeting next Tuesday. So even if you're watching this video and you're not participating now, feel free to come in here and add to any part of this workshop. And then I will remind everybody at the next UX Weekly meeting that by end of day, we'll wrap it up and then move forward. So my ask for you all, next steps is to contribute to this and go back if you haven't had a chance to add the wind in our sails and the anchors here. If you're here right now, please finish the solutions and then and we'll stop there. Make sure everybody's had a chance to contribute solutions. At the next UX Weekly meeting, I'll remind everybody to go in here and then vote. So no voting yet. We'll just pause this at the solutions. And then we will continue from there. So thank you everybody for participating, for being open-minded, for trying something new, for being patient with me as I went through this for my first time ever. Really, really appreciate it and hope we can make some positive changes here as a result. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, nice job. And really quick, if you're wondering what the point of this is, at the end of this, after we've done the voting and whatnot, we're trying to get to a point where we can pick something to pilot and test out and see how it works. So we're trying to get all of this funneled down into a single thing we want to try and do.
Right. And then we'll measure the success of that. And hopefully, yeah, it'll lead to positive change. We can try more than one solution, but maybe one solution at a time. I don't know. We'll see what comes out of this. But thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.